Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101, Week 17, Thursday Night Football, Browns Jets update show. Uh, I'll talk about tonight's game, what I expect, and what's going on so far, and we'll get to all that. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101, Week 17, Thursday Night Football NFL trivia question. It's a Jets trivia question. Who the Browns' opponent is tonight? Which Jets defensive end got 107 and a half quarterback sacks in his first 100 starts? I'll have the answer later on the podcast. Well, it's Thursday Night Football, Week 17, and we have a great AFC matchup for you tonight. The Cleveland Browns are taking on the New York Jets at home at Cleveland Browns Stadium right now, and right now they are up. Uh, And right now, the Browns are coming off a dominating 36-22 win over the Houston Texans last week at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. Now I can say the Browns are up 27-17, second quarter, first and 10, with under 3 minutes to play. It's 2:50 to play. Uh, Now, if the Browns can get the win over the Jets tonight, the Browns will clinch a playoff spot. Right now, the Browns hold the number 5 seed, the top seed in the AFC wildcard playoffs. The Browns' ability to clinch their third playoff appearance since 1999 and since 2002 will be in their own hands. Compared to last week's Spiderweb, if Spiderweb, if there, if then this week's goals is simple. As the late Al Davis would say, just win, baby. And a Thursday night win or even a tie punches Cleveland's ticket to the playoffs, uh, to the postseason and playoffs without help from any other team. However, there are scenarios in which the Browns can clinch a spot without a win. Here are all the scenarios which end in the Cleveland Browns securing a playoff spot after Week 17. A win against the New York Jets on Thursday night. That's number one. Number two, Buffalo Bills lost to the New England Patriots. Number three, a Jacksonville Jaguars loss or tie against the Carolina Panthers. A Pittsburgh Steelers loss or tie versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's number four. Number five, Houston Texans loss or tie against the Tennessee Titans, along with an Indianapolis Colts loss or a tie versus the Las Vegas Raiders. On the on the top scenarios above, if the Browns can win on Thursday, they will clinch at least the top wild card seed, number 5 in the AFC. As for the AFC North path for the Browns to win the division and secure a potential first round bye is significantly less likely, but still alive. For that to happen, the Browns must win their two remaining games against the Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens must lose their remaining games against the Miami Dolphins and the Steelers. The Dolphins must lose their Week 18 game against the Bills for the Browns to secure the number 1 seed, and Cleveland would hold the tiebreaker against Miami because of its better conference in this case. All in all, the Browns are starting at a late December opportunity with the fate in their own hands and a long shot to secure the top seed in a little bit of a lot of help. But we're now the Jets had scored. Now we're up 27-14. We're coming up on the 2 minute warning, first and 10. And so I just still feel the Browns will get the win and secure it tonight. All in all, the Browns are starting a late December opportunity with the fate in their own hands and a long shot to secure the top seed, as I've said, with a little bit a lot of help. After everything it took to get to this point, the injuries, the comebacks, 4 quarterbacks, reward that has eluded the Browns and their fans too many times has never been closer. Uh, a chance to play for and win the ultimate award, which is the Vince Lombardi Trophy. And so that is, but that is a long shot, and we'll see on that. So uh, now there is an interesting irony to this matchup. Flacco is best known for his time with the Baltimore Ravens, for which he was a long time Browns tormentor, going 18-3 versus his current team. But he also spent 3 seasons with the Jets, mostly backing up Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson. Flacco didn't have the same team success there as he enjoyed with the Browns to get the Jets. The Jets went 1-8 in his 9 starts, including 1-3 last season. But his uh, uh, commi- cumulative completions 2,253 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions compares somewhat favorably to what he has done so far with the Browns. 59.4% completions, 1,207 yards, 10 TDs, 7 interceptions in 4 starts. Flacco's one victory as the Jets starter, it came last season in week 2 in Cleveland, as he led the Jets to a stunning comeback in a 31 to 30 victory, throwing 2 TD passes in the final minute 22 of the game. Uh, uh, Yet when Aaron Rodgers uh, suffered a season-ending Achilles injury in week 1, the Jets did not try to bring back uh, the unsigned Flacco. Head coach Robert Saleh said uh, this week that that there was no regret in not signing Flacco, but they're starting Trevor Seaman, uh, Siman again this week with Wilson out with a concussion. Uh, uh, Se- uh, Sia Saiyaman, uh, the fourth Jets quarterback to start a game this season after leading New York to a narrow Christmas Eve win over the Commanders. Now, Flacco can add another unlikely chapter to the story by beating his former team. When Flacco took over as starter, the Browns' season was uh, teetering after a 36-19 loss to the Rams that dropped them to 7-5 on the season. But even with his closer than it appeared defeat in his first start for Cleveland, Flacco provided the ability, the the provided uh, the 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 playability the Browns have craved at the position much of the season, even when Deshaun Watson played earlier in the year. Cleveland has won 3 straight, and Flacco seemingly uh, has gotten better with each game. And I've said it before, Flacco is like a Ford pickup truck, Saleh told reporters on Tuesday. You might not like it in the summer, but in the winter months, that son of a gun starts humming. Saleh might be onto something. Flacco's completion percentage and uh, yards per attempt have risen after every one of his 4 starts. His interception total has leapt recently with 5 in his past 2 games. But Flacco's interceptions late in the first half on Christmas Eve didn't hurt in a dominant win at Houston. He's reintroduced the deep ball into the Browns offense, and it especially has benefited wide receiver Amari Cooper. Hopefully he will return. I think he might have had an injury, but hopefully he will return. He was questionable. He is playing, but he's right now, I think, back in the tent right now. But hopefully he'll return. Uh, and he was questionable play, but he did play with a heel injury. And tight end David Njoku, who have seen their productivity jump since Flacco took over. Flacco's importance to the Browns increased even more this week when rookie QB Dorian Thompson-Robinson was placed on injured reserve, which puts P.J. Walker back in the QB number 2 position. They re-signed him to the practice squad. And I have more in just a moment. Right now, it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Thursday Night Football Week 17 NFL trivia question. It's the Browns' opponent trivia question. The Jets trivia question. Which Jets defensive end got 107.5 quarterback sacks in his first 100 starts? If you said Mark Gastineau, you are correct. At the time of his retirement, Gastineau was the NFL's all-time leader in sacks. And I'll have another trivia question on my next podcast, which will probably be on Saturday for the Saturday game or on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. Because you may or may not get one from me Saturday, but if I don't, I will recap the Saturday game on Sunday. Now, getting back to tonight's game, that Browns have scored up 33-14. They just got 34-14 with 1:25 to go in the second quarter till halftime. Boy, are we dominating! And because as it's just simple, win and you're in. That's what it is tonight. That's the bottom line right there. And as I've said, Joe Flacco's short stint with the Browns has been a stunning storybook, almost unbelievable. Like everyone else, the New York Jets have watched him afar and maybe wondered what might have been. On Thursday night, and Flacco, who is just in over a month, has revived his career while uh, uh, re- rescuing Cleveland's injury-filled season. Can lead the Browns back into the playoffs for only the second time since 2002 with a win over the Jets tonight. And it looks like, right now, it's looking like that's going to happen, but it's not over yet. The same Jets who choose not to resign the 38-year-old quarterback during the offseason, even after Aaron Rodgers' Achilles tendon injury when he fell to the MetLife Stadium turf 4 plays into the first game with New York. Instead, the Jets at 6-9 cycled through QB's Trevor Siemian will start against the Browns, and he's playing tonight in the season that crashed weeks ago. Jets coach Robert Saleh swears the team doesn't rue passing on Flacco. Never regret. You always want to go into things with what you hope being a sound decision. Every decision we make comes with a deep thought and logic, but no, there's no regret there. Still, Saleh surely has to think about what Flacco, who went 1-8 as a starter from 2020 to 2022 with New York, would be doing for the Jets now. No, I don't think I ever let myself go there, Saleh said, but I am pumped to watch watch him play. It's fun for any guy that you've gotten an opportunity to coach and be around, have success, and he's definitely having it right now. The Browns at 10-5 probably wouldn't be in this position without Flacco, and ain't that the truth? And that is absolutely true. He has passed for as I mentioned, 1,007 yards and 10 touchdowns while going 3-1 in 4 starts. It's been something out of a blur for the 15-year veteran who finally has moved into an apartment after spending his first few weeks in a town hold up in a motel. Once a villain while playing for a rival Baltimore, Flacco has become a Cleveland cult hero Browns fans quickly have adopted him as one of their own. This city's been unbelievable, he said. I can't say enough about how welcoming everybody has been. It's definitely been a little bit surreal in terms of how people have treated me around here. That stuff always feels good, so hopefully we can keep it going for them. Things could have been so different for Flacco if the Jets had called, but they didn't, and he holds no bitterness. Uh, And the Jets are coming off a 30-28 loss to a 30-28 win over the Commanders last week, and they are struggling right now. But they have scored a couple of touchdowns. But they need to now that they've been giving the Browns too much room, and that's why the Browns have scored the last two touchdowns. So, and right now the Jets have the ball 44. We're coming up on 40 seconds to go until halftime in the second quarter. So 34-14 Browns. Uh, and I enjoyed my time when I was there, and it's what it is. He said, "I'm happy to be where I am. That's for sure. Listen, there's 32 teams in the NFL. They're just another one of those teams. I got a lot of guys over there I really respect, and had an awesome few years within that locker room. So a lot of respect for those guys. The feeling is mutual." I love him, Stallese said of Flacco. I love the way he prepares, really pumped for him and the success he's having, but it's just the decision we made in terms of the quarterback room and the way we developed it over the course of the OTAs and training camp. It was just the decision that we made. Now, jet lagged Flacco had his finest moment with the Jets in Cleveland in week two last season. Flacco threw his two of two of his four TD passes, as I said, in the final minute 22, as New York had beaten us, trailing by 13 points, pulled off a stunning, as I said, 31-30 win over the Browns. Pretty damn memorable, Flacco said this week. We talk about that comeback. The loss haunted the Browns, who never recovered on the way to a 7-10 finish last season. But how different it's been this season, despite the injuries. Definitely try to forget it, but you also don't want to forget it. Cornerback Greg Newsome the second said, "We still got the stinging pain, that stinging urge to get back out there and improve ourselves from last year's loss." Uh, Jets running back Brees Hall was struggling along with the rest of New York's worst ranked offense for several weeks. One huge game reminded everyone of how much of a playmaker he can be. Hall went 9 games without rushing for more than 50 yards, but he broke out of his 95 and 2 touchdowns, along with 12 catches for 96 yards in last week's win over Washington. He's the first player in the Super Bowl era with 190 or more yards from scrimmage, 12 receptions, and 2 TD runs. He's awesome, Simayan said. He makes some unbelievable plays. I mean, shoot, there's nothing he can't do. And the Jets enter the game as Cleveland having used an NFL high 12 starting lineups on their offensive line, including a different starting five in each of their past 11 games. New York might finally have some stability, though. Left tackle Mekhi Becton, left guard Laken Tomlinson, center Joe Tipman, right guard Jacob Hansen, and right tackle Carter Warren started Sunday against Washington and appear on track to start again Thursday night. And I think I believe they are. We are now at halftime, 34-17 Browns. It would be the first time since weeks 3 to 5 that the Jets had the same starting offensive line start consecutive games. And let's talk about the no-fly zone. The Jets have been downright stingy when it comes to shutting down opponents' passing games. New York hasn't allowed 300 yards passing in 33 straight games, the league's longest active streak The previous time the Jets gave up 300 or more yards came in Week 17 of the 2021 season when Tampa Bay's Tom Brady threw for 410 yards. I saw that on Twitter and had no clue we had done that. So that was really cool to see. Defensive lineman Solomon Thomas said, but it's not something we think about. This week, the Jets have been thinking about about Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper, who dominated the Texans for 265 yards last week and who may have surpassed 300 if not for sitting out a portion of the fourth quarter with the Browns up big. So that's basically. But the Browns right now are up. Uh, they are up 34-14 right now at 34-17 right now at halftime. And right now, I'm gonna recap the first half of this game. We're gonna recap it right now. First quarter, the Browns scored their first touchdown of the game. It was Joe Flacco pass short left to Jerome Ford for the 7-yard touchdown. And Patterson's extra point, uh, Rob Patterson's extra point was good. And it is 7-0 Browns. Uh, and Riley Patterson, excuse me. Riley Patterson's extra point was good. That's what it was. And then the Jets came back and they scored their first touchdown of the game. It was Trevor Simayan passed short middle to Brees Hall, excuse me, for the 21-yard touchdown. Greg Zuerlein's extra point was good, and we were tied at 7. Then the Browns, it was Kareem. It was first and goal at the Jets 7. Kareem Hunt up the middle for the 7-yard touchdown, and Riley Patterson extra point was no good, but it was 13-7 Browns. And then the Browns had the ball, and they had a turnover on downs, and it was a fourth and goal. Joe Flacco's pass incomplete, short middle to Cedric Tillman, and that's when the Browns had to get and that's when the Jets got the ball back. When the Jets had an interception, and it was Trevor Shanahan pass short right intended to Wilson, intercepted by Hickman at the Jets 30 for the 30-yard touchdown, and the extra point was good, and it was 19 to actually no, it was not. It was missed again. It was 19-7 Browns, and then the Jets went 3 and out at the point after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 5 yards, and it was 19-7 Browns at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Browns had a fumble to start it off, and it was Joe Flacco pass short right to David Njoku for to the New York 45 for 15 yards. C.J. Mosley fumbled, but touched at the Jets 38, recovered by C.J. Mosley at the Jets 35. And then the Jets went 3 and out the punt after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 5 yards. Then the Browns scored their third touchdown of the game. Joe Flacco's pass short left to Elijah Moore for the 8-yard touchdown. Riley Patterson's extra point was good. It was 27-7 Browns. Jets had the ball and had to go at the point after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 8 yards. And then the Browns had an interception, and it was second and 10 at the 50. Joe Flacco's pass short left intended for David Njoku, accepted by Johnson at the 37, Cleveland 37, for the 37-yard touchdown. And the extra point was good, and it was 27-14. Then the Browns, the Browns, and then the Browns got the ball back, and they had And then Joe Flacco's pass was first and 10 at the 50. Joe Flacco's pass short left to Jerome Ford with a 50-yard touchdown. Riley Patterson's extra point is good, and it was 34-14. And then just before halftime, the Jets tried to score a touchdown but couldn't. Greg Zuerlein's 45-yard field goal is good. It was second and 6 at the Cleveland 28, and it was good. The 46-yard field goal for Greg Zuerlein. And right now, that's where we're at. 34-17 at halftime. So basically, the bottom line is you win for the Browns is you win, you're in. That's the bottom line right there. So hopefully, we'll see if the Browns can hold on and get the win. And I do feel that they will, but we shall see. But as I said, in it, win, and you're in. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101. Uh, Thursday, Thursday Night Football Browns Jets Week 17 update show. I'll be back with the Thursday Night Football Browns Jets post game show once the game between the Browns and Jets has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.